With all this compost, we're gonna have the best plants in the neighborhood.
Redeveloping Grand Avenue is part of our efforts to invest in city neighborhoods by providing residents with amenities and programs to help them thrive. I look forward to having children's laughter once again fill these historic halls as we return Grand Avenue to a place of compassion and support for the community.
By providing youth services in Holden Heights and having a venue for community programs, this facility will strengthen the fabric of our neighborhood, teach our children well, and prepare them to lead the way. But most of all, it will give them a sense of pride.
Actually, I'm excited for the community to see the expansion of the Paramore Kids Zone and all the opportunities that Holden Heights now will have here at this center, and then to have the pottery studio and many activities going on. It's quite amazing, and it's well overdue.
As part of the American Cities Climate Challenge, we partnered with OUC and the Science Center to bring the Orlando Tiny Greenhouse today. Visitors have an opportunity to engage in a lot of cool interactive features that will be guiding them on how to save money and reduce their environmental impact. Even though this technology has evolved, not everybody can afford EV or solar right now, so there's a lot of other great highlights of low cost and no cost opportunities to save residents money that you'll learn about when you visit the home. And the greenhouse is on wheels, so we're going to be able to take it around the community and have people enjoy it and learn from it in various different areas of our community.
Trailing Thoughts from Katy Way Trail. This trail is so wide. I like to think that Katy was the name of the engineer.
Good afternoon and welcome to the February 7th, 2022 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance, today led by District 1 Commissioner Jim Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Dear God, we come to you asking for blessings and guidance as we gather together. Help us to work together with open hearts and minds to face the challenges and to address the opportunities within our great city. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's call a meeting officially to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make the determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan? Here. Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, first order of business would be consideration of the minutes from the agenda review City Council meetings of January 24th. Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, we do have a presentation today, and a proclamation. And every February, we know, is Black History Month. We celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Americans that are made to our nation and our state, and especially here in our city. And I want to thank city staff on our Black History Month Steering Committee who've planned a number of in-person and virtual events, virtual as we have been doing for 2 years now, coming right up on 2 years. So there'll be events and workshops that support our efforts to create an inclusive, equitable city for all. Mershawn Green, our equity official, is going to give us an overview. Mershawn, you want to come up? Are you going to have the members of the committee stand at some point, or should I do that now?
Yes, I'm going to have them come up with you to take a picture after the
Okay.
proclamation.
Great.
Yes. So thank you, Mayor Dyer and commissioners. When our community celebrates Black History Month, we are not only recognizing how Black Americans have helped shape our country, the state of Florida, and Orlando, we're also acknowledging that the struggle for equity continues and that our work must continue. With that in mind, the City of Orlando staff members who have volunteered their time to be a part of our Black History Month committee have organized a series of events for residents this month, highlighting this year's national theme of Black health and wellness. The events are also designed to encourage advocacy, empowerment, and upward mobility. Events include a celebration this Wednesday evening at the Dr. Phillips Center that will feature Orlando Poet Laureate Sean Welcome and a keynote address from Dr. Kadesti Yusuf from Bethune-Cookman University, Departments of Justice and Political Science. She also assisted OPD with the community engagement, Dr. Kadesti did, and performances. Virtual workshops will be held during the month focusing on building equity in our healthcare system and sharing ways that residents can become involved in advocacy and in issues of importance to the Black community. What's Up Downtown will also feature a panel sharing insights into the past, present, and future of Paramore. For more information about these events and others, I encourage residents to visit orlando.gov/BHM. I want to thank the members of the steering committee for their passion and dedication to creating a meaningful observance of this month for our community. Mayor Dyer, can you please come down after reading the Black History Month proclamation for us and take a picture with us?
Certainly. So I would like to read a proclamation, City of Orlando, Office of the Mayor. Whereas Black history is an integral part of American history. Black Americans have played an essential role in building, strengthening, and shaping the United States.
And whereas Black History Month takes place each February and was originated by the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, founded in 1915 by Carter G. Woodson, a historian, author, and journalist. And whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements and the contributions Black Americans have made to our nation, our state, and our city. And whereas the story of Black Americans is a story of resilience, perseverance, and achievement, of tragedy and triumph, and of fighting for change. And whereas while celebrating Black History Month, the City of Orlando recognizes the contributions of Black Americans while also acknowledging the struggle for equity continues. And whereas as a community, we recommit to continue to work to ensure that all residents are treated equally or equally protected and have equitable access to opportunities that help them thrive, and that Orlando remains an inclusive, welcoming city for all. Now, therefore, we, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, and District Commissioners Jim Gray, Tony Ortiz, Robert Stewart, Patty Sheehan, Regina Hill, and Bakari Burns, hereby do proclaim February 2022 as Black History Month in the City of Orlando.
I apologize. We would like all commissioners to join with Mayor Dyer. I meant to say that earlier. So if you all would join
Can
us
you
with
stand
it.
behind with these? Okay.
We'll make it work.
Black History Month Committee.
Get 3 here and a couple inside, can't we?
Stand up.
Toss in the middle. Yeah. How do I look? Do I look good? I did, Jim. Thanks, Jim. I'll get it. Thanks, Jim. I got it, Jim.
Okay, that brings us to the mayor's update. And you know that I was virtual the last council meeting because Susie and I had tested positive for COVID-19, and we thankfully during our quarantine period we experienced very mild cold-like symptoms, and I attribute that to the fact that I am, and Susie is double vaxxed and boosted, and that is important for the entire community. I got a few hate emails saying, see, that vaccine didn't do anything for you, but I can tell you what it did do was probably keep me out of the hospital and keep me alive. So I recommend again that you, if you haven't been vaccinated or boosted, consider doing both of those. Also want to remind residents of the 2 services we are offering. We still have free COVID testing going on at Camping World 7 days a week, and most of the time there's no wait, so you don't need an appointment. You can just drive up and get COVID tested there. And then we have recently reopened our online portal for emergency rental assistance to households that have been financially impacted by the pandemic. Visit orlando.gov for information on both the testing and rental assistance. A couple of things I just want to note on the agenda is we are considering a resolution today that'll kick off our 2022 redistricting process. That happens once every 10 years after the census is taken. We'll be appointing a redistricting board that consists of 9 members. I appointed 3, and each of the district commissioners appointed 1, so that's 9 in total. It's a very diverse group that I think very aptly represents the makeup of the city of Orlando. They will be gathering and studying census data. They'll take public testimony and plans. They'll propose a redistricting plan for the city as a whole that'll once again have 6 commission districts that will have roughly equivalent number of residents within each of those districts, and present that plan for consideration and adoption by the City Council. I want to thank the board members that has accepted those positions. There's nothing but our gratitude that they're going to receive for that, and there's a lot of time that they're going to invest in doing that as well. So I want to thank them and wish them luck in their endeavors. If you want to learn more about the process, go to orlando.gov redistricting. And then the other thing I want to mention is, as we continue to diversify our economy and bring high-wage, high-value jobs to our community, we have a package today that will support the relocation of Home Lending Pals headquarters and 275 new high-wage jobs to downtown Orlando. The package includes public transportation incentive, downtown living incentive, and Strive funding. Do we have a representative? Okay. Right there in the middle? Okay. Would you guys stand and let us thank you for finding downtown Orlando an attractive place to do business? We welcome you, and Commissioner Hill and I will be there for the ribbon cutting. About that. Okay, that's all I have for today, so we'll move to the consent agenda. And the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of City Council. We give each of our commission members an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda and update you on important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order that we do that. Commissioner Jim Gray is first up today.
Thank you, Mayor. And I am going to yield my time to Commissioner Tony Ortiz. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. Commissioner Ortiz, you have twice the time today.
Better make it good. You better make it good.
You want to yield that back and just not say anything?
I'm going to yield my time. No,
okay.
Not that much. You don't get it.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to yield my...
So on Wednesday, the 26th, we hosted our we had in the past newly organized District 2 Youth Advisory Board at City Hall. We talk about government, what they would like to see in our communities, how they can get involved, more involved than ever, and gave them a tour of City Hall. We started off a little quietly, but thankfully by the end, we couldn't get them to stop asking questions, so that was a lot of fun. It was a great experience for everyone, and we learned a lot from each other. I look forward to collaborating with them again in the future and bettering our community together. On Thursday, January 27th, District 2 Liaison Officer Jose Sanchez and I attended the Lakeview Condominiums Association annual meeting. I want to thank the Lakeview members for inviting us. We filled them in all the important items, including legislations, Tallahassee, and how they can get involved, so, and district updates. On Thursday, February 3rd, my office and I went door to door. We started a campaign, going door to door through the district, bringing the legislative priorities to our community, explaining it to them. A lot of people don't get to see them in our social media and other outlets. So we're going door to door, and it's amazing how people sometimes, because they're so busy, they don't know what's going on in Tallahassee. So I know my fellow commissioners have been working with the communities too, and we will continue to advise our communities about the legislations going on in Tallahassee and how to get involved, so we stop being preempted and they stop sending unfunded mandates to us. There's about 4 of those. And those of you that want to catch up with this, we have the legislative action agenda in our social media. We are paying close attention to about 4 of them, and let me start with the net one, being net metering. And I know this is very important to Commissioner Sheehan. So, and to all of us, because the utility companies buying the energy at a certain rate and selling it back at the same rate. Well, there's a proposal where they were wanting to buy it at a wholesale package and selling it back at a retail price, and it's not fair. I definitely understand that there's monies that need to be used to maintain the system, but there could be a fixed amount of money for that instead of including it in a kilowatts package. And there's other alternative, and for those who want to read more, you can come to my website, or a person that is very well acquainted with this, is very smart, and he's our pride and joy when it comes to sustainability. That's Mr. Chris Castro, so we can Talk to Chris Castro. Short-term rentals, although the legislative body are trying to give us more power in terms of short-term rentals, they still want to pass, they want to include in their package a particular, amendment where those who are to register the rentals with the city, they don't have to pay a registration fee, and that's not convenient for the cities, because then either the city have to raise taxes to pay for the code enforcement they have to go and check, or other expenses, which I don't think is fair for those who has nothing to do with rentals. So why not paying a fee just like any other business, and complying with all the requirements that are set forth. So those are two of the legislations that we need people to call Tallahassee. And real quick on the short-term rentals, the Senator Danny Burgess and Representative Jason Fisher are the ones who are sponsoring these bills. The one on net metering is Jennifer Bradley and Lawrence McClure. So, and then the tree protections and smoking in public places, we're happy with those. Are giving us power back for us to handle at the municipality level the issues the way that is best for our community. So, but those particular ones that I mentioned before, the short-term rentals and net metering, I think are most important, and we need the support of the communities. People need to start getting involved, because otherwise those legislators in Tallahassee keep legislating without letting you or us what's going on, and sometimes it's too late. And what is bad about that is the fact that then you may think that it's your local government, the one that is coming up with these new legislations affecting your quality of life, and it's not us, it's at the state level. So please get involved. And with that, I think I'll pass the baton to Commissioner
Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me share just a couple of quick things. I heard it's somebody's birthday on the DS. Roy, is it your birthday?
Not yet.
Oh. Before the next meeting. So,
well, why don't we go ahead and sing happy birthday?
That's
good. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Roy. Happy birthday to you.
Well, you're welcome. If you're up here, Roy, you're going to get sung to. Just want you to know that. So. And I had the honor of spending this past weekend celebrating my wife's birthday. So it was it's a good time to do that. I want to say a special thanks to Katie Fleury. Katie is we've nominated her and we'll vote on her today as part of the redistricting advisory representing District 3. She is a very, very talented lady and is, I think, Mayor, as you have mentioned, a good cross-section. I tried to select somebody who was much more the future of Orlando and not the past. So I think she's a good example of that. So I'm happy to have her on there. A couple of things coming up. One is for the first 14 days of February, I decided that we would do I Love Small Business, and highlighting small businesses to be able to take your loved one to for Valentine's Day. And so we're still looking for a few more. So if you're interested, please let us know. We've had a great response back. Not a whole lot we can do, but we can promote people to be engaged in our community. Manello is having a family fun night on February 13th as part of this same focus, and then we're also doing the same thing. We love our dogs, so we're doing District Dogs. It is incredible how easy it is to get somebody engaged in our city if you talk about dogs or cats. Commissioner Ortiz, I understand that the issue is we talk about vacation rentals, they don't much pay attention until next door. But when they talk about your dog, they are there and they want to do something about it. So I'm hoping we can engage more people by getting them involved in these small ways. This week, as Commissioner Ortiz just shared, it's Florida League of Cities Legislative Week. So Commissioner Ortiz and I will be up there tomorrow and helping to try to lobby for our cities and what our cities can accomplish. And so I appreciate your leadership again as past president and looking forward to that. And you for the legislative priorities. I had the opportunity to share that with our district, and as a reminder, we're doing a legislative update once a week by e-blast to everybody in my district list. So if you want to be engaged, be involved, find what's going on in Tallahassee. It's a short read, but it's a couple of links if you're interested in moving on to see other things going on. Please just let my office know if you're not getting it already. The Dragon Parade is coming up, celebrating the new lunar year. And that's this Sunday, February 13th. Looking forward to being over there with Commissioner Sheehan. Commissioner, it's the Dragon. What's the year? I thought it was the year of the bull, but what is it now?
Tiger.
Tiger. That's right. Tiger. So. Thanks for putting me on the spot. You're welcome. Well, you're the one that has all those puppets.
The year of the Tiger King.
Yeah. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. On February 16th, Orlando Museum of Art is hosting a special lecture series with our director, Aaron DeGroff. Let me just share one thing. I had an opportunity to go over and kind of take a tour of the masters that are over there, as well as a couple other exhibits that are there. I am so impressed with what's going on over there at the Museum of Art. If you hadn't had a chance to go over there and see what's going on, it's there until April, I think. There are names that we only studied briefly or maybe longer in our humanities class in college that we never cared about then. All of a sudden now, 40 years later, we care a whole lot about them. So there's a Rubens and a Rembrandt and just some really neat names that we remember kind of in the back of our brain. But it's it's an incredible collection from the Bob Jones University, as well as from a couple others that Aaron has acquired to come in temporarily. So please get a chance to go over there and listen to it. It's just really, really neat. I want to say special thanks to Orrin Henry. Orrin, so thank you for the work you're doing with the rental assistance. Appreciate your response and appreciate your weekly reports on it. That helps me out a lot in terms of communicating back to our constituents. So thank you very much for that. And the only thing I want to mention today on the agenda is item I-1, the regional wetland program for development grant to go back and look at all our wetlands and to map them out properly. One of the challenges that we have is dealing as we see growth, especially in inland growth in our city, to be able to get ahead of the game, knowing what we can and can't do in areas there where floodwaters and wetlands are involved. This is one of those chances for us to kind of get ahead of that game, and I appreciate us moving forward on that. And with that, Mayor, that's all that I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And my mother got COVID the same time you did, and my elderly mother, and of course she said, "I'm not afraid of no Omicron." And darn it if she didn't beat it. So she was also double vaccinated. I hadn't gotten her to her booster yet, so again, I was very concerned about her getting it, and she survived and is thriving now because she got her boosters, because she got her shot. So it's very, very important for everyone to do that. Commissioner Ortiz already mentioned net metering. I'd just like to reiterate that as a person who puts solar panels, I'm a civil servant. I'm certainly not a wealthy person as the way that it's being proposed that all these wealthy people are stealing from other power companies or customers. That's not what's happening at all. Basically, I use my roof to generate power, and the extra power that I generate basically goes in a bank account, and I use that in other months that I don't generate as much power. And the power companies are trying to say, well, you shouldn't be able to save that power, and we're not going to compensate you for that. So consequently, my solar panels are not returning like they should if these proposals that the legislatures are trying to put in go forward. And it's basically a way to disincentivize people from putting solar panels on their homes. So as a passionate climate activist and as a good person, I want to do the right thing. And I have made a substantial investment in my home to do so. That was supposed to return into my retirement. And now they're trying to say that it's basically putting money in the bank and saying we're not going to pay you the interest. So again, this is not fair. It's not right. And we should be doing everything we can. This is the Sunshine State. We should be generating our power from roofs. It just certainly makes sense. Over the weekend, I went to Trash to Trends. It is the main fundraiser for Keep Orlando Beautiful. It was a great success and a wonderful tribute to Sam and Marcy Singhouse, who were very involved from the very beginning. And this is, again, a fundraiser for Keep Orlando Beautiful. They pick up trash, they clean up all that horrible graffiti that's all over the city. And I just want to thank them for all the great work that they do. Sean's group does a wonderful job. And it was just a really fun event, and a lot of talent. You can't believe what those folks will make out of old screen garbage and coffee filters. It's just amazing what the beautiful fashions they can make out of that. If you get a chance to go in the future, I would encourage you to do so. And as we celebrate Black History Month, I think it's really important that we all listen to understand each other. And while I will never understand what it is to be a person of color, I can stand with you. Also on the agenda today, I want to thank Dan Kirby, who is my redistricting advisory board person. I'm sure he's going to do a great job, as well as everybody, a lot of great folks serving on that. On the agenda today as well, Cocktail Lamp Business Assistance Program. There was some concern about the diversity mural. They're going to do whatever they can to salvage that. I think that's a great thing, as well as a great new business in the Mills 50 area. C7 land use policies for Curry Ford Vision Plan, respecting the adjacent neighborhoods along a major commercial corridor. That's just, again, really good planning. I want to thank the planning staff for that. And that's all I had on the agenda today. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Move to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And I also would like to thank the person that I chose for the redistricting for District 5, Mr. Attorney Greg Lee, that understands the complexity of government, and all of my district has a big heart and someone that I trust. So thank you, Greg. I think I got a great steal with that one, Mayor. I also like to thank Mayor Dyer and Dave Arnott for supplying all the commissioners with 500 kits of at-home COVID tests. Mine are in my community centers, so anyone in District 5 that might need a at-home COVID test, you can go to either Mercy Drive Northwest, Callahan Jackson Center, Ivy Lane community centers, and they will have them there. And thanks again, Mayor, for providing that. On January the 25th, I attended the Paramore Asset Stabilization's Red Ribbon event. It was at Beardell Park, Community Center, Senior Center. And it was just thanking all of those funders that help this city, and thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and this council, where we gave $1.2 million to renovate 83 units there in the Paramore area and make them affordable in perpetuity of 99 years. That was owned by a slum landlord. And now some of the residents came to that meeting, and they spoke how it made them feel as a person now, Mayor, that they didn't have to live in such inhumane conditions. And many of them had been living in those units for almost 20, 30 years. And the takeaway, they said, they're under new management. And it was just so special because there was wraparound services, health and wellness issues that they had. And I'd like to thank Mr. Brewer, Mark Brewer, and his team for all that they've done there in the Paramore area by giving these special families a new lease on life by providing quality housing. No one was evicted during COVID. They made sure that, Mayor, even with those that might have fell behind on the rents, they worked with Orrin and his team to make sure that they applied and got those funds that they needed. So I think that's just great. No one was displaced in Paramore in that project. On Tuesday the 25th, I joined Congresswoman Val Demings, our Orange County Clerk, Tiffany Moore Russell, and the 9th Judicial Circuit Judge, Alicia Lattimore, for a virtual event focused on women in leadership that was held by the Orlando Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. Glad I got that right. Woo, they would kind of help me. And it was cultivating the next women leaders on getting into government and running for public office and becoming public servants. We had about 200 young ladies from different colleges on that virtual meeting. And then, of course, we did the best we could do, Mayor, or you were greatly missed on January the 27th, and I know Commissioner Burns is going to talk more about it. We went and did the ribbon cutting over at the Hannibal Square on Orange Center, which is being done with Camille Reynolds of Hannibal Square Land Trust and Construct 2 Group. And those are also affordable townhomes and eventually some multifamily that will be affordable in perpetuity. I mean, it's huge right now, especially when we're reaching where home ownership is almost unattainable, even for the middle class. It's so expensive to own a home now. On Friday, February the 4th, I joined my colleague, Commissioner Burns, there at his community center and Dr. James Smith Center, where we did a outreach, and I know you're going to talk more about that, so I was glad to join you. On February the 4th, I was on a panel, another virtual panel on making gains and decisions with Florida's community leaders, where I attended with Mayor Jerry Dimmons, Commissioner George Oliver, House Rep Anna Escamati, and Pastor Eddie Harris, where we were speaking to students at Dr. Phillips Student Government and talking about some of the challenges and other things that relates to politics when it comes to Black Americans. So that was a great panel, and hopefully the children gained some knowledge about wanting to serve in public service entities. And then on Friday, February the 4th, it was my first time over there, and it was quite an amazing evening where I joined the Winter Garden Theater, and they had a playwright about Martin Luther King's last night alive there at the Lorraine Hotel. And during this play, I think it's going to last for another week or so, they've been acknowledging Central Florida trailblazers and mountain climbers, and it was such a distinguished, I would say, list of names when you said Judge Perry, Geraldine Thompson, Congresswoman Val Demings, and Alzo Reddick, and the list goes on. And for them to nominate me, Mayor, it was quite humbling to be on that list. I almost feel like I'm not ready for that list yet. I still got a lot of work to do, but to be acknowledged and be among those distinguished leaders here, I'd like to say thank you to Mrs. Tanika Geis for nominating me. She's the Director of Development there at the Garden Theater, and she's African-American female. And as we know, I grew up in the segregated South as a little girl, and to see how far Winter Garden and Tavares and many of our southern rural areas have came, and the diversity that you see and the equity there was quite pleasing. And I tell you, I'm a little jealous of Winter Garden because they have all this outdoor dining and sidewalk cafes, and so hopefully we can see something like that as we progress there in the Paramore area in the future. So kudos to Winter Garden. February the 12th at 1 p.m. To 4 p.m. over at the newly renovated Lake Larned Dune, the West Lakes Market Street. Congratulations on that, Sherry and Pauline. We'll be having Lover's Lane. And so it'll be live entertainment, food and beverages, and local vendors. It'll be our first event there when we start talking about a marketplace event. And then we'll be unveiling the Tables of Connection at the Willows Park on February the 12th. As you all remember, council passed for us to receive a grant, an AARP grant, where we're trying to make sure during hurricanes, different events, that there is somewhere within that western core where folks can charge up their phones, try to charge up their batteries. It has a solar, it's ran by solar energy. Great job, Chris, on that. I know you really helped out with that component. And So I'm just excited about that over there in New Willows Park. And then finally, on February the 16th, we will be having, excuse me, she wrote it wrong, February the 19th, we'll be having Black Culture Movie Night at Lake Larned, or it'll be a drive-up movie there in the football field. We'll be having the Black Panther, and then it'll be movie, food, free event, live entertainment, raffle drawings, and much, much more. And if you want to RSVP, you can contact Letitia Fields at letitia.fields@orlando.gov. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move on to Commissioner Burns.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor and fellow commissioners. As we celebrate Black History Month, I would like to highlight and recognize a local icon and trailblazer in the area of politics and public service. Known by many as the matriarch of African American politics in Orlando, Commissioner Mabel Butler made history as the first Black woman to serve on the Orlando City Council, where she served from 1984 to 1990. Commissioner Butler also made history as the first Black person to serve on the Orange County Commission from 1990 to 1998. Commissioner Butler is known for many things, and one of her accomplishments that she remains proud of to this day is how she wrestled the Florida Classic away from Tampa and brought it here to Orlando. And we all know the economic impact that has on our local economy every year. So we're thankful to Commissioner Butler for that. Many who aspire to run for public office oftentimes pay Commissioner Butler a visit to gain and receive political nuggets and wisdom and hopefully her support. Commissioner Butler is a mentor of mine, and when I needed a little motivation, inspiration, and have questions, I can always stop by her house, and if I'm lucky, she'll have some of that world famous sweet potato pie or pistachio cake available to us. So again, at the age of 95, she's still a force to be reckoned with, as she's made our city, our county, and our region a better place to live. So we all are thankful to everything that Commissioner Butler has stood for throughout her life and all the work that she's done in our communities. Also, I'd like to say congratulations to Commissioner Hill for being recognized as a trailblazer by the Winter Garden Theater. You say you didn't think if you were ready, but your work speaks for you. So congratulations, well deserved. To start, my office named the Universal Studios location of Painting with a Twist, located on Conway and Turkey Lake, as the District 6 Business of the Month. Opened by Burbino and Julie Lahens in late 2020, following, actually in the middle of the pandemic, they have been so successful that they've opened a second location in Clearmont. So if you're looking for a place, Valentine's Day is coming up, or you're looking for a date night, to have some fun, please keep the Lahens and Painting in a Twist in mind for this Valentine's Day weekend. Also, as Commissioner Hill mentioned, last week we celebrated the groundbreaking of Hannibal Square on Orange Center Boulevard. More affordable housing is coming to the city of Orlando and in District 6. So there will be 30 affordable townhomes for purchase. And so we're excited to have that happening in our communities. And I'd just like to say thank you to Mayor Dyer and his commission for making that happen, as we know that was a long process. Also, as Commissioner Hill mentioned, on February 4th, Commissioner Hill and I, along with Byron Razor and the WMBE staff, helped to facilitate a session where local minority businesses received information on how they can participate in the Hannibal Square Townhome project. So again, this was an effort that we wanted to be intentional about ensuring that our local minority business know of opportunities, but also have the information of what they need to do to potentially participate. This Thursday, I'll join Mayor Dyer, city staff and residents from the Richmond Estates for the official unveiling of the city's first Table of Connection, located in Prince Hart Park. And as Commissioner Hill mentioned, these are tables that are solar powered, and they have solar batteries. and they can withstand 175 miles per hour wind. So again, as Commissioner mentioned, if you lose power due to a hurricane or whatever, you can go to this table and connect, recharge your phone, but also you can have internet access. So we're excited about what's happening over at Prince Hall Park. Also, this Saturday, I'm partnering with OPD for a community kickball game to help improve the relationship between our police and our community. We'll have food, free haircuts, a video game, truck, and most of all, kids ready to beat OPD in what will be hopefully our first annual tradition in District 6. So thank you to Chief Ralone for your support and my liaison officer, Officer West. So Chief, I hope you're ready. You and your officers are ready because the kids are. So we'll see you on Saturday. For our agenda items, the first one, item B7, the approving of the use of the county contract for the construction of traffic calming and minor roadway. We are fortunate that several roads in District 6 over the last year and a half have been improved, but we're starting to get calls about when are we going to replace the speed bumps because the speeding has picked up, and I told them we were just waiting on this contract, so I'm glad that this contract is ready for approval so the speed bumps can be reinstalled. And then lastly, I wanted to show my support for ordinances on the first read, designating 1502 Bruton Boulevard and an Orlando Historic Local Landmark. This is the home of Miss Mary Johnson that I spoke about in our last council meeting, who provided midwifery services to Central Florida area Black and other women who lacked access to these much needed services. So again, very supportive of that becoming identified as an Orlando Historic Local Landmark. And Mayor, with that, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And so the motion carries. All right, those who are just here for the consent agenda are free to take your leave. If there's no objection, we will recess the city council meeting and we will convene the CRA. David Barilla, one item.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you. The one item we have for the CRA today is a high-wage, high-value job creation agreement. It is for Home Lending Pal, who the Mayor introduced at the start of the meeting. As you may recall, the CRA's high-wage, high-value job program was created in 2006 with the purpose of relocating companies to downtown Orlando that had high-value jobs. With that, it allows for up to $4,000 per job in incentives, depending on the type of jobs that the company is ultimately bringing. So you heard before, Home Lending Pal is interested in coming to downtown Orlando. They were established in 2017 and are a artificial intelligence-powered mortgage advisor advocating on behalf of the consumer to promote mortgage equality. So definitely a type of business that we'd be happy to have in downtown. They're looking at creating 275 jobs here over 5 years, which is robust, and I absolutely hope that they can create every single one of those. What that does is it creates them or makes them eligible for $3,500 per job under this program. And in addition to that, they are also investing about $550,000 in leasehold improvements over that period of time. So as you recognized earlier, Brian Young, he's the co-founder of the firm, as well as Zena Sheikh is here. They are accompanied by Tracy Turk with the Orlando Economic Partnership. And their total package today from the CRA equates to $990,500, again, if they are successful in creating the 275 jobs at the appropriate wage here in downtown. So happy to address any questions.
Questions or a motion?
Move to approve and welcome to District 5.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Commissioner Stewart.
If you'll do me a favor, because I think a lot of people are listening, and this is important. One of the things that we do when we do this, they are incentive-based. These are things that are paid once the applicant achieves the goal, which is, I think, is great. And I'm for every type of incentive we do, as long as it's got some kind of performance base. Share a little bit about how that program works. I know you shared a little bit about this, but how the program works at all, because I'd like to have people know more about this, because I think this is a great way for us to continue to work on building up the downtown core.
Absolutely, Commissioner. So the program in and of itself, it has 3 different components to it. The first of which, as you heard, is really creating that high-value job. So any company that's moving into downtown Orlando or expanding in downtown Orlando, that's creating a job that's at least 115% of the area wage. To that extent, they meet that foundational level of the program in order to participate. That qualifies them for kind of the minimum incentive. As that job that's created continues to go up in value, the incentive itself goes up in value. We have a tier for 150% of the average area wage, which is what Home Lending Pal is qualifying for. Their jobs are actually averaging out at about $98,000 in annual wage. And then we have a 200% wage as well that provides a little more incentive. In addition to that, there's somewhat of bonuses, as you may consider them, for having your workforce, a certain percentage of them live within the CRA, the downtown area. And those who don't, obviously, we want to encourage people to be multimodal and participate in public transportation. So there's an additional kind of bonus for that. So all of those is kind of ultimately what can total up to $4,000. And it's not paid, as you pointed out, Commissioner, until that performance is complete. So we call those performance-based incentives. So it's not paid out up front, it's paid out after the fact. Each year, the company is required to ultimately submit an annual report to us that not only shows how many jobs they created, what wages those are at, how many people are living within the area and using public transportation at the appropriate amount, and then that actually has to be certified by a third-party CPA. So that we know all those numbers are true and correct. And only then would they receive a portion of those funds. We actually spread the payments out depending on the application and the series of how they're completed and brought on, but this one is 8 years.
No, I think it's great, and mostly because of the fact that it's incentive-based, and so we're not paying a bunch of money out front, but there's assurance that if they perform, we are going to perform. And I appreciate the work that you've done and to keep this going forward. And you and Sherry, I think Sherry got you someplace around here. So between the two of you, thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. David, any other business to come before the CR?
That is all, Mayor.
Okay, then we will stand adjourned. We'll reconvene the city council meeting, and congratulations, by the way. Madam Clerk, hearings, ordinances, first reading, number 1.
Ordinance 2022-10, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's adopted growth management plan in accordance with the city's 2022 water supply facilities work plan, amending Objective 1.3, Policy 1.4.2, and Figure PW-3 of the potable water element, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Burns. The old potable water element. Is there anyone from the public, Madam Clerk, that would like to discuss this matter?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Hearings, ordinances, second reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-6, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to addressing standards for properties facing a muse or common open space, amending Chapter 65, Part 4I, Section 65.537 of the Land Development Code to clarify addressing standards, providing legislative findings and for codification, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Gray. Madam Clerk, anyone from the
No
public?
speakers. No speakers.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-9, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the development program for the northwest out parcel of the International Drive Resort Plan Development Zoning District, which is generally located north of Vanguard Street, south of Oak Ridge Road, east of International Drive, and west of the Florida Turnpike, and comprised of approximately 9.52 acres, amending the Planned Development District's development plan, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would testify?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-11, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, extending the temporary moratorium of new permits and permit renewals for the continuous use of sound amplification devices within the public rights-of-way in the downtown entertainment area, providing legislative findings, severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 4.
Ordinance number 2022-12, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located east of Peel Avenue, north of East Grant Street, and west of Sioux Haven Drive, and comprised of 1.87 acres of land, more or less, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as residential medium intensity on the city's official future land use maps, designating the property as 1 to 5 family residential on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Anyone from the public, Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Ordinances on first reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-7, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located south of East Church Street, north of East Jackson Street, and east of South Bumby Avenue, comprising approximately 1.32 acres of land, more or less, from office and residential zoning district with the traditional city and aircraft noise overlay districts to planned development zoning district with the traditional city and aircraft noise overlay districts, providing a development plan and special land development regulations of the planned development district, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is there anyone from the public, Madam Clerk?
No speakers,
No
Mayor.
one from the public. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-8, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending and restating the land development regulations of the South Narcousie Warehouse Park Planned Development for certain land generally located southeast of the intersection of Lee Vista Boulevard and Narcousie Road and comprised of approximately 9.7 acres, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permanent disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-13, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to historic preservation, designating certain real property generally located north of Cepeda Street, west of Bruton Boulevard, and east of Florence Avenue, addressed as 1502 Bruton Boulevard, as an Orlando historic landmark, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Hill. Madam Clerk, any testimony?
No, Mayor.
This is the designation that Commissioner Burns mentioned during his opening remarks. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Okay, Ed, could you get us prepared for general appearance?